Through your visual cortex, your brain uses familiar patterns it sees in these lines as shortcuts to map out the room around you. Your brain does this so efficiently, it often makes assumptions about features of your environment that aren't accurate. Want to see what we mean? Rokers has set up an experiment to show you. Take a look at these two bars. They are exactly the same size. Now look at them. Does one look bigger than the other? If the top one looks bigger now, your brain is making the assumption that it's placed farther away on the train tracks. If it really were farther away, it would have to be considerably larger to look the size it does. So your brain overcompensates, and you actually see the top bar as longer. Weird, right? Here's another illusion for you. Take a good look. Which table is thinner and longer? The one on the left or on the right? They are exactly the same. But these vertical lines appear to recede far into the background, tricking your brain into seeing them as longer than these horizontal lines. Perspective cues are processed so effectively by your brain, you likely rarely think about them. But they're crucial to helping you see a 3D world through which objects can move. And seeing how objects move is one of the most critical skills your brain has.
Determining the speed and direction of things, whether they're moving towards or away from you, can be a matter of life and death.
So how does your brain splice together individual moments into a seamless, moving reality? Let's start with this illusion. Stare at the X in the middle of the image. Do you see the green dot moving around in a circle? Now try to follow that green dot with your eyes. Nothing there, right? This illusion helps demonstrate how quickly your brain finds motion in your surroundings. Want to see how it does this? As you watch the X, neurons throughout your visual cortex compare the image you're looking at from one moment to the next. Specific neurons track the changing position of objects between the images, allowing you to comprehend them as moving through space. In the moving circle test, the missing dot here leaves an after image. As this after image shifts position, your brain sees a pattern that it decides is motion, and it stitches together the frames to see a moving green dot. Cool, right? You may not realize it, but your brain deals with illusions of motion every day. In fact, you're experiencing one right now on your screen.
Movies are composed of a number of still frames, but these frames are really fast following each other. So the brain assumes that they have to be generated by something that's moving.
Want a shot at another tricky illusion of motion? Take a look at the lines on the screen. There is a shape hidden in there, moving in a mysterious way. Now what do you see? A square moving clockwise? The movement of the lines hasn't changed, only your perception of them. So why can't your brain figure this one out without these boxes? It turns out if you can't see the motion, you need to alter your brain. And one of the ways to do that is through hypnosis. Neuroscientist Amir Raz studies how hypnosis can be used to change the brain's perception of reality. Today he's working with a student volunteer to see if through hypnosis she can see the hidden moving square.
When you look at the screen, do you see a particular motion going in a particular direction at the moment?
No.
First, Roz wants to see how she performs on the test without hypnosis.
How about when I add these occluders? Can you see?
Clockwise.
Clockwise, very good. How about when those occluders are gone? So, can you see it?
No.
Can you force yourself to see the motion here now that you know what it is? Or is it breaking up?
It's breaking up.
Like most people, she's unable to identify the direction of the motion.
Breathe in and out comfortably.
Now, Roz is putting her under hypnosis to see if she can imagine the boxes and reveal the hidden square.
I just want you to relax and put a little physical sticker at these locations so that you would have these occluders there to assist you in seeing the motion, and it's going to be apparent. It's going to be very easy for you to see. I want you to tell me what direction it's going in. Here you go.
Clockwise.
So as soon as I add the occluders, you can actually see that it's going in that direction. Okay? Let's do another one.
Counterclockwise.
You're right. Okay, so just call them out.
Clockwise. Counterclockwise. Clockwise. Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise.
That's it.
Amazing, right? Dr. Roz's research suggests that under hypnosis, patients are actually creating visual signals in their brains that allow them to identify the square's movement. Like in the moving circle test, they are essentially seeing things that aren't there. These illusions demonstrate that your brain is eager to make sense of movement in your surroundings. And for good reason, too. Your brain is constantly analyzing motion for indications that danger is present in your environment. But it's also specially evolved to read a great deal of information in a specific kind of movement: human motion. Take a look at these dots. Do you see that they're the outline of two people? We have a question for you. What are these two people doing? If you said arguing, you are correct. So how was your brain able to figure out such a complex action with such a rudimentary set of dots?
The human brain is hardwired to recognize biological motion, which is not just motion of people, but motion of animals or anything that's living. There are parts of the brain that are specifically organized to analyze motion before our conscious brains even become aware of it.
John Crawford is a professor of dance and media arts at University of California, Irvine. Today, he's working with two actors at an LA motion capture studio to see how good you are at figuring out what they're doing with only these dots. To generate the images, markers are placed on the actors' joints, which are tracked by cameras throughout the room.
Motion capture generates these fields of dots, moving dots that we call point clouds. When we're viewing those point clouds in the way that we're used to, it's surprisingly easy for the human brain to pick out the details of the movement.
Want a shot at more of these dot tests? Crawford is having the actors perform several activities for you. Try to figure out what they're doing, and we'll show you the answers. Ready? Count how many you get right. How'd you do on those? Well, we have one final dot test for you to try. What are the actors doing now? Have you decided what our actors are doing yet? Was that one difficult for you? Not surprisingly, you're best at identifying activities you're most familiar with. Research suggests if you play basketball or fence, you're more likely to correctly identify these more specific activities.
Movement is an extremely powerful communication tool. And with the use of motion capture systems, we're trying to understand what it is about those movements that are so powerful that make us respond in emotional or expressive ways.
So what's going on in your brain that allows you to see such specific meaning in a bunch of dots? To help answer that question, our actors are going to perform a scene for you.
Take 2.
Watch this one closely.
BNC.
We'll have a question for you about what you experienced.
BNC. Action.
Who was the guy last night?
Are we getting a little jealous? Honestly, he was asking me how to get to the bathroom.
Well, didn't look like it.
Oh my God!
Stop. Let's look at that again.
Are we getting a little jealous? Honestly, he was asking me how to get to the bathroom.
Well, didn't look like it.
Ouch! How did that look? Painful?
God.
More importantly, how did it feel?
Alright.
Many of you probably also experienced sensations of pain just by watching.
Hello. One of the big mysteries of human nature is why we enjoy being spectators. It turns out one of the reasons is because when we're watching someone else do something, our brain doesn't think we're watching it. Our brain is convinced we're actually doing it too.
Jonah Lehrer is a science writer and contributing editor at Wired magazine. One of his areas of interest is in mirror neurons.
Mirror neurons are this really funny category of neuron in which every time I see you smile, my own brain lights up as if I were smiling. Every time I see you jump, shoot a basketball, my own brain lights up as if I were doing it too.
It's still emerging science, but it's believed mirror neurons are part of the reason you so easily read action in the dot tests
Didn't look like it.
and feel a sense of pain when you see someone hurt themselves. It's suspected these neurons play a role in many aspects of your life, from making it easier to interact with others to helping you learn.
One theory is that if I can understand what you're thinking and feeling, then I can better interact with you. The other theory is that mirror neurons are a big part of motor learning. In a sense, our motor cortex, which is in charge of planning all our movements, it doesn't just learn from actually executing those movements itself, it also learns from watching other people execute those movements. So in a very real sense, my golf game is improved when I watch Tiger Woods swing a golf club.